نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Dear viewers and listeners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In continuation of our Quranic understanding program, today we shall read few more verses from chapter number 2, Al-Baqarah, starting from verse number 262. Remember, verse number 262 onwards. Please hold a copy of Quran without translation in your hands. Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Alladhina, those, yunfikuna amwalahum, who spend their wealth, fi sabilillah, in the way of Allah, or in the cause of Allah. Summa, then, la yutbi'una ma anfuku. They don't follow their spendings. Manna, by the reminders of generosity or expression of generosity. Wala aza, or not by any injury or hurt. Lahum ajruhum, their reward is in the Rabbihim, with their Lord. Wala khawfun alayhim, there shall be no fear upon them. Wala hum yahzanun, nor shall they grieve. Qawlu ma'rufun, a kind and sweet word. Wa maghfirah, and forgiveness. Khair is better. Min sadaqah, is better than that charity. Yatbahu aza, which is followed by injury or hurt. Wallahu ghani, and Allah is free of any need. Halim, and He is forbearing. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O those who have believed. La tubtilu sadaqatikum, don't invalidate your charity. Bil manni, by the reminders or by the expression of generosities. Wal adha, and by hurt or injury. Kalladhi, like the person, yunfiku malahu ri'a nas, who spends his wealth just to be seen by people. Wala yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir, he neither believes in Allah nor the last day. That is life hereafter. Famasaluhu, so his example is kamasi safwan, like a rock or like a stone. Alayhi turabun, and on this rock there is a dust accumulated on this. فَأَصَابَهُ وَابِلٌ, and there is heavy downpour. فَتَرَكُهُ سَلْدًا, this downpour or this rain leaves that stone again bare. لَا يَقْدِرُونَ عَلَى شَيْءٍ بِمَا كَسَبُوا, so they are unable to keep anything of what they have earned. وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الْكَافِرِينَ, so Allah doesn't guide such disbelieving people. وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ, on the other hand, example of those people, يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ, who spend their wealth, ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ, simply to seek approval of Allah or seeking pleasure of Allah. وَتَثْبِيتًا مِنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ, and to strengthen their souls with faith. كَمَثَلِ جَنَّةٍ بِرَبْوَةٍ, their example is like a garden on high grounds. A garden on high grounds. أَصَابَهَا وَابِلٌ, and when there is heavy downpour, فَأَتَتْ أُكْرَهَا, it gives double produce. فَإِلَّمْ يُصِبْهَا وَابِلٌ, and if there is no heavy downpour, فَالطَّالْ, even a drizzle manages things, there's little production. وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ, and Allah watches or sees whatever you do. أَيَوَدُ أَحَدُكُمْ, would anybody amongst you like Antakuna Allahu Jannah, that he may have a garden, he may possess a garden or an orchard, min nakhilim, of date palm, wa anabun, and of grapevine, tajri min tahtiha al-anhar, beneath which flow streams, lahu fiha min kulli samarat, and in this orchard or garden there are many more every kind of fruits around. Wa asabul kibar, and the owner of the garden is struck by old age or afflicted by old age. وَلَهُ ذُرِّيَّةٌ ضُعَفَاءُ, and his offspring are weak and immature. فَأَصَابَهَا إِيسَارٌ, and then a fierce wind blows. فِيهِ نَارٌ, in which is fire. فَاحْتَرَقَتْ, which roasts it or it burns everything. كَذَلِكَ, this يُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ, Allah makes clear, لَكُمْ, for you, al-ayat, the signs. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَفَكَّرُونَ, so that you reflect upon. Sadaqallahul Azim. These verses are again concerned with charities. What kind of charities are accepted by Allah and are due for reward? And what kind of charity is rejected point blank? There are such people who spend their wealth just to be seen by people, to become famous, or derive some gains out of their charities. They get their gains in this world. How come they can expect any reward from Allah? Because they didn't do any charity for seeking pleasure of Allah. Only those people who spend their wealth for seeking approval and pleasure of Allah, and not to be seen by others, and they don't express any generosity while spending, they are due for reward. That's highlighted in these verses which we are studying today. The in fact discussion started yesterday when we read yesterday verse number 261. That the example of those people who spend out of their wealth simply for the sake of God, seeking pleasure, is like a man who sows a seed and then sees that germinates in a plant grows up, it sprouts, it produces 7 ears or spikes, each spike contains 100 seeds, thus Allah multiplies the reward for the true believer. This statement is continued today from verse number 262. Please focus and concentrate your attention. There are very, very verses full of lessons. الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ, those people who spend their wealth فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, in the way of Allah. That spend your wealth for any good cause, whether individually or on collective levels. Anything good for the benefit of humanity or benefit of an individual. He may be in need of health or some collective cause. That's فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ, those who spend their wealth فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, in the way of Allah. ثُمَّ, then لَا يَتْبِعُونَ مَا أَنْفَقُوا, they do not follow that what they spend. Manna, with the expression of generosity, reminders of generosity to the person on whom they have spent. They don't express generosity. وَلَا أَذًى, nor cause any hurt to the person by repeatedly telling him that I will helping you, I will be your caretaker. Don't you understand? A person, perfect moment, never does it. Perfect believer never does it. That's why Quran says, Allah, those people, يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ, who spend their wealth, فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, in the way of Allah. ثُمَّ لَا يُتْبِعُونَ, then they do not follow مَا أَنْفَقُوا, what they have spent. Manna, with the expression or reminders of generosity, their own generosity. Nor by their words, nor do they tease the person or hurt his feelings or injure him by words, who stand this test. But they do it only for God's sake, for Allah's pleasure. لَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ, for them is their reward with their Lord. وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ, there shall be no fear upon them. On the day of judgment, no fear upon them. They will be in a happy state. وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ, nor shall they grieve. Then Quran says, قَوْلٌ مَعْرُوفٌ, a good word, a kind word. وَمَغْفِرَةٌ, and forgiveness. خَيْرٌ in sadaqah, is better than the charity. يَتْبَعُ azab, which is followed by hurt or injury. Imagine, see the beauty of the statement. Imagine these words revealed to the world, present to the world 1400 years earlier. When it was dark all around, the whole world was under darknesses and darknesses. Such golden words, golden principles laid there. Imagine, Qawlu Ma'rufun, a good word, a kind word, a word of consolation, a word of affection, which a person expresses for a needy person. Puts his hand on his head and said, my brother, don't you worry. I'm there to help you. And it's these kind words. Even if the person is hard up, you have to give. Even if the person who is expected to give, and his brother comes to him just asking for help, but the person concerned is not in a position to help. He is hard up, but he doesn't know. The deserving person doesn't know. Even such hard situations, a true believer is expected to not to kick him out, not to react if he repeatedly asks for help, not to react. Not to respond with anger, not to kick him off, but putting his hand on his head and hugging him. My brother, don't you worry. I'm there to help you. But the fact is, I'm myself hard up. Believe me, I'm inshallah soon going to come out of this. I will help you. I'm always at your disposal. I'm not doing any favor to you by helping, but this time I'm not in a position. These sweet words of consolation, I'm telling him, asking him, oh man, tell me, what's your problem? Can I help in any way by suggesting some remedial measures? Can I in any way help console you and your family? I'm there. And by speaking such sweet words, good words, Quran says these sweet words, kind words are better than forgiveness. What does forgiveness mean? Because the person who is deserving, he comes with a great hope to some person, comes to me with a hope, but I am not in a position to help. Sometimes maybe he loses temper because it goes against his expectations. And sometimes the person, I start rebuking, what are you talking? I don't owe you anything. We see people doing it in my presence. I don't owe you any money. I'm not in an obligation to help you. You are asking me my help that I should help you as if I owe you something. What don't I? You have no manners to talk to me. This is unbecoming of a true believer. Even if he doesn't possess anything and he doesn't have money to help him. And if this man even may lose temper, he may raise his voice. A person in such a situation, if utters a sweet word, a kind word, and forgives even if there is something untoward. Quran says this sweet word, kind word, and forgiveness is better than that charity. Charity which is followed by expression, by hurt and injury, as people do. We do it. See, imagine, Wallahu Ghani. But remember, Allah is free of any need. He doesn't need anything. Halim, He's forbearing. He forgives you time and again. He doesn't catch you there and then. He gives you long rope to correctly mend yourselves. Then Quran says, and next verse, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. O believers, O those who have attained to faith, La tubtilu sadaqatikum. Don't invalidate your charities. Imagine, emphasis in a beautiful manner. Golden letters, golden words, golden principles, worth pearls and diamonds, every word of Quran. Try to understand this real spirit behind it. And that Islam is branded as either misogynistic against women or terror and committing atrocities and anything. See this Quran. This is Quran which we have lost connection with Quran. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O those who believe, La tubtilu sadaqatikum. Don't invalidate your charities bil money by the reminders of generosity. That you give somebody you help him, and then start expressing generosity. So before him, I have been helping. It is my. Otherwise, you would have been. You and your family might have died since. It's me. Or expressing generosity in presence of others. See, I'm helping so many poor people. I've arranged meals for so many. I'm managing such and such orphanage of my own expenses. This expression of generosity is unbecoming of a true believer. Quran says, oh believers, don't invalidate your charities. You make charities, but don't invalidate them. Don't put them to ruin. Your bill money by the expression of generosity and gratitudes. Wal adha, and by injuring the feelings of the concerned person. Quran gives a comparison. Kalladhi, it is like a person, yunfiku malahu, who spends his wealth, who gives something out of his wealth, but what for? Ri'a annas, to be seen by others. This man is like that. Like the person who spends his wealth, but to be seen by others. Wala yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir. He neither believes in Allah nor the last day. فَمَثَلُهُ, his example is kamasil safwan, like a rock or like a stone. Alayhi turaban, over it is a thin film of dust accumulated. فَأَصَابَهُ وَابِلٌ, and there is heavy downpour. فَتَرَكُ salda, that leaves this stone bare and naked as it was. That means you make charities. It accumulates some dust, which is fertile thing, good for you. But once you start expressing your generosity and start injuring the feelings of the person, it is as if you throw fresh water over it, and everything is washed away. Your charity is gone, nullified, invalidated, finished. You are like it again remains the same like a bare rock, nothing. لا يقدرون على شيء مما كسبوا. They are unable to keep anything of what they have owned. That means whatever they might have owned of this charity is gone. That's finished by expression of generosity and hurting the feelings. Wallahu la yahdil qawmal kafirin. Allah doesn't guide such disbelievers. That means this is the attitude of disbelievers. One who believes in Allah, his attitude cannot be like this. Then Quran gives a parallel picture. This is about those people who express generosity and injure feelings and spend wealth to be seen by others. But parallel picture is the sincere people. On the other hand, the example of those people who spend their wealth ibtigha mardatillah, simply to seek pleasure of God or His approval, not to be seen by others, but only to be seen by Allah. But that's with the min anfusihim, and they spend their wealth for strengthening their souls, for strengthening their hearts for faith. Their example is that means they are the true believers, right? Kamasli jannatin. Example is like a garden. Previous example was like a rock on which a clay accumulated and that was washed away by waters, rainwater, and nothing left except bare and naked rock. All the effects of charity gone. But here, parallel example of those people who spent after their wealth simply to seek pleasure of Allah and to strengthen their souls. Their example is like a garden on high grounds. Garden on high. This is example of a fertile ground. Fertile ground. Like a garden on high grounds. When there is heavy downpour, it gives double produce. And if there is no downpour, then a simple drizzle, a simple moisture makes the soil fertile and it gives some produce. That means who doesn't show, express generosity, doesn't enjoy the feelings, his charities are accepted. They increase double, manifold. Even if that charity is less in amount, it may be fatal, just a drizzle, a small moisture. But since it is with sincerity, you just imagine. Sometimes it does happen. It does happen. That somebody calls for help, some collective, or and somebody is there, he offers 1,000 or 10,000, okay? But if they are in the hearts of hearts is feeling that he should be impressed by me, or my generosity should become the talk of the town, other people should admire me. On the other hand, there is a person, a poor person, he has nothing, but he sees an orphan or a needy person, a thirst and suffering from thirst and hunger. He has nothing but a simple bread, just a loaf of bread. For his own self, he has nothing more. But he feels that my brother is more in need of food than me. He offers and he goes, you take it. Or if he insists, they say, okay, let us share it. Let you take half bread and I take half of it. I too am hungry, but let us share it. This half bread is better than a donation of 1 million. Because it is based on sincerity and just seek pleasure of Allah, rather than 1 million to be seen by others and to be highlighted on news channels and newspapers and media centers and all that. That is the example. Even if the charity may be simple, if there's no heavy downpour, that means even if your charity is not in a big amount, in a big way, because if you are not in a position to do that. Wabilun fatal, even if it is a moisture, just a drizzle, that means small charity, but with utmost sincerity, with good intentions, it gives a produce. it has its expected result. Wallahu bima ta'amaluna basir. And Allah sees whatever you do. Then Quran says about those people who spend their wealth, express generosity, and by their verbal expressions, by their facial expressions, they hurt the feelings of the recipient. The donor tries to hurt the recipient, his emotions. His honor is at stake. He wished that it was better that I would not have accepted. That was better for me not to accept. If I had not accepted any donation from this person, the way he's hurting me. And that's Quran says about that. Again, an example. Ayawaddu ahadukum. Would anybody amongst you like antakuna lahu jannah, that he may possess a garden? Min nakhilim, of date palm, big garden, fertile, with garden of or orchard of date palm, wa anabin, and grapevines, tajri min tahtil anhar. And underneath this garden flows streams. That means this is fertile, well irrigated garden. That picture of a very good garden having all kinds of fruits. Lahu fiha min kulli thamarat. In addition to grapevines and date palms, he has other kinds of fruits also growing in that orchard. Wa asabahu al-kibr. But the owner, the master, is stricken by old age or afflicted by old age. And his offsprings are weak and immature. And in that condition, and there's a fierce wind blows, a fierce wind, which brings fire with it, which reduces everything to ashes. It burns everything. That it is the person who tries to give charity, but by expressing generosity, by repeated reminders, injuring the feelings, highlighting his donations, trying to get fame around, and the person concerned is watching with innocent eyes that I have been exposed. Now I'm not in a position to face my own relatives and friends the way he is presenting my case that I have been helping him. It is as if he has spent a lot in charities, but now he has reached old age and immediately a fierce wind comes. What he had earned of this, he was expected to earn out of his charities. A good reward he was expecting, but a fierce wind with fire with that, it burns everything to ashes and nothing left behind. Quran says, كَذَلِكَ يُبَيْنُ اللَّهُ لَكُمُ الْآيَاتِ. Thus Allah makes clear to you the signs. He makes clear to you, Allah says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَفَكَّرُونَ, so that you ponder, you think, what way to adopt, the right way or wrong way. Expression of generosity, or seeking fame and injuring the feelings, or to spend secretly, to be seen only by Allah the Almighty, and trying to be thankful and grateful to the recipient. Donor should be thankful or grateful to recipient. Whoever of this path, now the two paths are before us. Quran says we make clear both ways. Our message, our signs, we make clear. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَفَكَّرُونَ, so that, oh believers, oh true believers, you ponder, you reflect, and choose the way for you, which is the better way. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم والحمد لله رب العالمين.